The greatest injustice is not only what is done to a people, but when they are blamed for the conditions created against them. Oppression is designed and then explained as if it were the victim's fault.
Hold on. I'm a little confused. Riddle me this. Why is this aggression towards black people? Hello? When our president was in the White House for 8 years, he was voted in. He didn't cheat to get there. And he did for everybody, even despite the fact that he was black. He gave millions of people medical insurance. They didn't want to see that man go. Still respected to this day. As a matter of fact, world leaders don't want to talk to nobody else but him. So I'm trying to understand and ascertain why y'all mad at black people. Y'all voted this man in. He's your president. He's the one who allowed you to platform your hate. So what you mad at black people for? What we do? You would think that we were the ones who sold off pieces of America to the highest bidder. You would think we were the ones who made ourselves billionaires while taking from the American people. Are we the reason why you can't buy a car, a house, or pay for gas or groceries? I don't think so. It wasn't us that passed the big, beautiful bill. It wasn't our president who was the sexual predator. As a matter of fact, our president was handsome, married, with an educated wife, and 2 beautiful daughters. I'm confused. Hello? He literally set the standard. At that time, America still had a little class left. So I'm trying to understand and ascertain, where is this aggression coming from with black people? You would think that we were the ones who executed Alex Preddy and Renee Good in the middle of the street in broad daylight, and then got a GoFundMe to get us halfway to $1 million, and still had a job. You would have thought we was the ones who created the concentration camps that's happening right now. You would think that it would be our men who are impregnating young Hispanic teenage girls and then thinking about putting them on a private island so they can have even more access to these young Hispanic girls that's been separated from their families.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a growing debate that is exploding across social media. As the cost of living continues to rise, many Americans are feeling the pressure. Rent is up, groceries are expensive, insurance costs are climbing, home ownership feels out of reach for millions of Americans. And now, some frustrated Americans are looking for someone to blame. And they are now blaming black Americans for the American decline. But many black Americans are responding to these accusations with one simple message. They warned you. They say they spent years telling people not to put blind faith in politicians, only to watch many voters ignore those warnings. And now that life is getting harder for them. Some people are now blaming black Americans instead of blaming politicians they voted in to help them. Let's talk about this, and if you are watching for the first time, please subscribe.
A black male needs to get up and decide to put these black chicks in their place.
Damn, that's huge.
I get it.
You say the black women are messing with your mom? Or you say your mom's in the hospital? Oh, they're messing with the country.
That's so.
Okay, all right.
So the black male needs to say, you know.
Well, let me hold that thought. Let me order this food real quick.
Oh.
Can I get a crab and shrimp Louis?
Yeah.
With extra crab on it, extra shrimp, and add some salmon to it.
Salmon?
Yeah, salmon.
It's smoked salmon, is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay.
And I'll take another one of these Cadillacs.
I'll make it strong for you.
Thank you very much.
Do you want one order?
Yes, please. Now, what was you saying again?
The black male needs to wrestle the black female and tell her and put her in her place. Because if you don't, she's just gonna just, you know.
Right.
She's just gonna, I don't know, she's just gonna, you know, mess it all up.
Why is the black woman gonna mess it up?
For, well, color of her skin, you know, people like porcelain skin, the blue eyes, the yellow hair, you know, all of it. You want to go there?
I'm asking you.
I'm telling you.
First of all, our black women are strong.
I know that.
We got strong black women in this world. Yes, indeed. And the black women in this country, in this world, is not the problem.
Yes, they are.
Because when you talk about it, you talk about my black mother.
No.
You talking about my black sister. You talking about my girlfriend. You talking about everybody. Now I don't know what's going on with your mom.
Yes. No, sir.
I don't know what's going on with your mom, but
wait.
My condolences to whatever's going on with your mom. But no, I don't think it's every black woman's fault what's going on with your
Let me tell you about my mom.
Yeah, I'm listening.
That bitch is 97 years old and she don't know how to quit.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
You read me? We got black chicks that are like that, okay? They need to be reined in. I'm serious.
These ladies over here would love for you to join them.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, you have a nice day, okay?
Hi.
Most black voters, by the way, have no idea about the racist history of the Democratic Party. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats founded the Klan. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats voted against the 13th Amendment that freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment that gave slaves citizenship, the 15th Amendment that at least on paper gave slaves the right to vote. Democrats voted against all of that stuff. I didn't know when I was in high school that more Republicans as a percentage of the party voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than did Democrats. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Everett Dirksen, a Republican in Illinois, got an award from the NAACP for how he helped to shepherd the Civil Rights Bill through Congress. I didn't know that Al Gore's father participated in what was then the longest filibuster to prevent the bill from ever becoming on the floor. I also bought into that notion that okay, Democrats used to be racist, but then Republicans switched places with them in the 60s. I bought into that until I found out that of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the House, of all the Democrats who voted against the Civil Rights Act in the Senate, only 2 switched to the Republican Party, one of whom was Strom Thurmond. George Wallace, who stood in front of the school door as a Democratic governor saying segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, he died a Democrat. Robert Byrd, who was a Kliegel, that means a recruiter for the Klan, he died a Democrat at 100 years old in the Senate. Most of these guys never switched parties. It is a lie. The reason the South became more and more Republican is because the Democratic Party became more and more left-wing, became anti-Vietnam, anti-war, pro-abortion, and the South became increasingly uncomfortable with their allegiance to the Democratic Party, especially since Jim Crow had fallen. If Jim Crow has fallen, why are we in bed with these Democrats? What's the point? And so the South became more and more Republican for a reason that had nothing to do with racism. But that was the line that was fed by so many people, and so many blacks to this day believe that.
Hold on. I'm a little confused. Riddle me this. Why is this aggression towards black people? Hello? When our president was in the White House for 8 years, he was voted in. He didn't cheat to get there. And he did for everybody, even despite the fact that he was black. He gave millions of people medical insurance. They didn't want to see that man go. Still respected to this day. As a matter of fact, world leaders don't want to talk to nobody else but him. So I'm trying to understand and ascertain why y'all mad at black people. Y'all voted this man in. He's your president. He's the one who allowed you to platform your hate. So what you mad at black people for? What we do? You would think that we were the ones who sold off pieces of America to the highest bidder. You would think we were the ones who made ourselves billionaires while taking from the American people. Are we the reason why you can't buy a car, a house, or pay for gas or groceries? I don't think so. It wasn't us that passed the big beautiful bill. It wasn't our president who was a sexual predator. As a matter of fact, our president was handsome, married, with an educated wife, and 2 beautiful daughters. I'm confused. Hello? He literally set the standard. At that time, America still had a little class left. So I'm trying to understand and ascertain Where is this aggression coming from with black people? You would think that we were the ones who executed Alex Petty and Renee Good in the middle of the street in broad daylight, and then got a GoFundMe to get us halfway to $1 million and still had a job. You would have thought we was the ones who created the concentration camps that's happening right now. You would think that it would be our men who are impregnating young Hispanic teenage girls and then thinking about putting them on a private island so they can have even more access to these young Hispanic girls that's been separated from their families. It's misplaced aggression, baby. We're the ones that provide seasoning here. If it wasn't for Obama, a lot of y'all wouldn't even have Medicaid right now and Medicare. And your boy is trying to take it from you as we speak. He's trying to cut that. He don't care about veterans. He don't care about police. Hello? He was about to give the police officer, I thought y'all said Blue Lives Matter. He was about to give the resurrectionists money. Millions of dollars. You're mad at us? If America is a business, how come he cutting y'all out? Y'all white. Y'all should be good. 400-year head start. This is your mascot. Why you the only one getting rich? You wasting your time being mad at us. We don't have the control. Hello? Like, share, and follow from...
So we in America can't even afford to live anymore. This 1976 cost of living, the average income was $16,000. A home was $43,000. New car, $5,000. Rent, $220 per month. Just look at these prices. So based on that, they're saying that the average income should be what, $84,000 now? So that means that with $240,000, I should be able to buy a new house. It's not possible. And also the average income is not $84,000. You know, most people are making way less than that. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, but it's not $84,000. And based on this, I should be able to get a new car. That's what? It says it would be like $5,000. So if my income is $80,000, a new car should be like $20,000, which most of the time they also are not. I mean, unless you're getting a value car. Also, if we're looking at this, your rent for the year should only be 15% of $6,000, which would be about $2,000 something dollars, which our rent is not 15% per year. It's like 30 or 40% per month. So yeah, something is definitely wrong. New car, nothing is adding up. So basically, we're not making enough to support what things cost, and it's a horrible thing.
Wait a minute. I thought Joe Biden was causing all this inflation. That's what I was told. Every time gas went up, groceries went up, rent went up, eggs went up. Somebody said, look what Joe Biden did. So now I'm confused, because if Joe Biden is still personally responsible for inflation, why won't Donald Trump stop him? If Trump loves America as much as he says he does, why is he letting Joe Biden run around and raise the price of everything? Why won't he tackle Joe Biden to the ground and snatch inflation out of his hands? Gas, housing, groceries, cars. Why is Biden out here apparently still controlling all these prices? Or, just hear me out, maybe inflation is a little more complicated than blaming one person every time the price of bacon goes up. I'm just asking questions because y'all told me Joe Biden had these magical inflation powers. So where's Trump at? Why hasn't he stopped him yet? Why isn't he saving us from all of this inflationary oppression?
Now, in this report, what we've seen, it's a report that is both coupled with a true cost of living report, is that the inequities in this city, the racial inequities, are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in the city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000. This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long.
Now, see, this is what we need. This is the type of politicians we need. I love it. But what struck me the most about this wasn't just the numbers, it was the honesty. A politician stood in front of the public and plainly acknowledged that in New York City, white households hold over $200,000 in median wealth, while black households hold less than $20,000. Not whispered, not sugar-coated, not buried in some report that no one reads. He said it out loud. And then he said something even more important. This is not an indictment of anyone. It's an indictment of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Guys, that is leadership. Not pretending inequity doesn't exist because the truth makes racists uncomfortable. Not gaslighting people who have lived these realities for generations. Not hiding behind slogans while entire communities struggle under the weight of policies that create massive disparities. This is what we need from politicians.
Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon a framework that puts equity right at the center of it. Thank you.
Sure. And see, this is what I loved most about this clip. They didn't just stop at acknowledging the problem. They actually opened public comments. They created a timeline. They're talking about action. Because leadership is not supposed to protect people from discomfort. It's supposed to confront problems honestly enough to solve them. For far too long, politicians have treated conversations about racial inequality like something dangerous to say publicly. Meanwhile, the disparities just kept growing. This is what courage in politics looks like. Not division, not hate, not blaming ordinary people. Truth, accountability, action. And honestly, America is starving for leaders willing to do exactly that. Go, Mamdani.
Once you start doing a deep dive and actually looking up and understanding these statistics, you will see that white people are some of the biggest hypocrites ever. Let's take black on black crime, for example. Historically, 85% of all white murders are done by another white person. For black people, it's around 88%, so it's not that much off. Now, we can talk about sex crimes such as rape and stuff like that, right? They make up nearly 70%. God damn. And I love how they try to fear monger against black people. Oh, we're violent, we're this and that. Listen, don't worry about us unaliving y'all. Worry about them drugs. Bro, they account for nearly 70% of drug overdoses since like 2015. Like, this shit is crazy, but they try to put the blame on us. No, bro, I know statistics. They can't hit me with that, bro.
And black women are complaining about 50-50. Girl, we are in last place. Look at it, income by ethnicity. We are in dead last place. Well, I'll never go
You know, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but since I keep seeing a whole bunch of people talk about this and refuse to use their brain, you know what? Might as well give my take on it. You know, marriage, building, generational, all that shit comes from a partnership. That's what 50-50 is. 50-50 is a metaphor for partnership, because if both of y'all get 50%, you're going to get 100 out of it. It has been historically proven that we are at a disadvantage and we spend the most money. And you don't think we should come together as one? Like, if you look at any stereotypical establishment, whether it's a 7-Eleven, a beauty supply store, a Chinese food spot, a Jamaican, whatever food spot, store, whatever, the whole family is in there working. And eventually they make money and they open up more stores. And the family stops working. They hire people. They're building. And the main problem with this is most people react to this off past trauma and emotions. Like, you lived through it. Learn from your mistakes or whatever you went through and move on. That's how you get better at something. Trial and error. But nope. Black women gonna point the finger at the black man. Black man gonna point the finger at the black woman. Like, bro, at some point, y'all gotta get tired of being a Spider-Man meme.
Let's start with the reality, good people. It is true that millions of Americans are struggling. Food prices have increased, housing costs remain high, healthcare costs continue to rise. Many families are working harder than ever, but feel like they are falling behind. Many Americans are frustrated, and when people are frustrated, they often start looking for explanations and where to put their blames, and that's exactly what's happening here. Many black commentators in this video argue that they have long been skeptical of politicians and political promises, and their message was simple. Politicians are not your friends. They'll tell you they are going to lower the cost, they'll promise economic prosperity, they'll promise to make life better for working class Americans. But once the election is over, ordinary Americans often find themselves dealing with the same problems or even worse ones. Many black Americans say they repeatedly warn voters not to assume that any politician was going to magically fix their lives. And according to these black Americans, they argue that many MAGA supporters became emotionally attached to political figures and stopped asking difficult questions. Many MAGA voters believed they were supporting policies that would improve their financial situations. They expected lower costs, they expected stronger purchasing power, they expected a better quality of life. But today, many Americans are facing rising expenses in almost every area of their lives. So, I'm now asking y'all, if life is becoming more expensive, why are MAGA blaming black Americans instead of questioning the politicians whom they voted for? Because black families are also paying the same grocery bills, the same rent increases, and the same utility costs as everyone else. So, blaming black Americans for your economic struggles does not make sense. Some MAGA people will rather find a scapegoat than hold powerful institutions or politicians accountable. Instead of asking why housing remains unaffordable, instead of asking why wages are not keeping up with costs, instead of asking why wealth continues concentrating at the top only, some MAGA people turn their frustrations towards other communities. What we need to agree on is that while ordinary Americans argue with each other, wealthy interests, the billionaires, continue to benefit. And regardless of which party is in power, many corporations remain profitable. Wealthy donors maintain their influence, and economic inequality continues growing. Average Americans continue struggling with everyday expenses. And that is why many black commentators say the real issue is not race. The real issue is whether politicians are delivering for the people who elected them. Looking at this debate, my people, one thing seems clear, that many Americans are angry and they are frustrated. They are tired of seeing prices rise while their paychecks don't seem to go nearly as far. So blaming a certain racial group for complicated economic problems is not likely to solve anything. If Americans want answers, the conversations should probably focus on policies, leadership, economic decisions, and the institutions that shape everyday's life. Because at the end of the day, Americans of every race are feeling the pressure of a high-cost economy. What do you think, good people? Are Americans focusing on the real causes of the cost of living crisis? Or are people spending too much time blaming one another instead of holding leaders accountable? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching. This is Mercy Realities.